How do you get the new patients in the door so that they can have this experience with you and the new staff?
That's a very interesting question, and it's a changing market that we're in right now. A lot of the things that used to work pretty well don't work as well, and there are some new technologies that are right there that are just amazing at doing it. I've worked with over 150 different marketing tools over the years, and I've found that only about a dozen of them really work fairly consistently, so less than 10%. And a lot of times doctors just take the guy that walks in that's just selling whatever he's selling, and the doctor basically picks that up and he buys that, and Yellow Pages of this or that. And a lot of that stuff doesn't work anymore, if it ever did. And so one of the things that we try to do is zero in on the ones that are the most effective.
All right, you have to at least give me a little hint. I imagine word of mouth is big,
Right.
and you're probably very right. The Yellow Pages at this point is probably obsolete. Would your next idea be radio and television or internet? Which is the best way at this point to get that new patient interested in your office as opposed to the guy across the street?
Well, you hit on a real important one, which is I think that from what I've surveyed, only about 20 to 25% of optometrists even have a website. And today, it's more important to have a website than it is to have a business card.
Why is that?
Well, because how do people pick which doctor they're going to go to? Word of mouth, yeah. But once they get 2 or 3 recommendations, how do they pick amongst those doctors? Or if they don't have anybody to give them word of mouth, what are they going to do? They're going to go to Google or Yahoo or something, and they're going to type in optometrist in the city or eye doctor in the city. And who's going to show up there? Out of that first page on Google, they're going to pick who they're going to go see. How do you get there? Well, first of all, it starts with having a website. And secondly, it also starts with knowing how to get a website positioned properly so that it comes up high enough to have a real good chance at that business.
What's the biggest mistake and the biggest plus that your average optometrist website has?
Well, the biggest mistake that a website will make is they'll use terminology that the person that's viewing it, your new patient, your prospective new patient, doesn't understand. You go to a website that has 2 or 3 terms you don't understand, how long does it take you to click off of that? It's just instant. The second thing, to answer your question about what's the biggest plus, is the biggest plus is to know why people choose a particular optometrist in your area. Now, I know why people typically choose a particular optometrist over another. I've done a lot of market research for my clients to figure these things out in different areas. But it does vary by area. And if you have up there at the top of it something that's going to really zing, and the patients are going to look at that and go, yeah, that's what I want, that's going to get you the highest possible percent saying yes to your practice, yes to your website.
How much of this is getting the goals of the optometrist in sync with the goals of the staff member, which is in sync with the goals of the client who walks in and the patient who, and what they're looking for? How much of it is just making sure everybody's on the same page?
Well, that's the end result. How it's done is quite an art, but that's the end result.
But they can call you and you'll tell them?
Sure.